Hello, Weathersfield parents, kids, and professionals. I caught more with the principal. You wouldn't believe you guys. They hid the principal confessions to me too. The principal child abuser. These are also more people on off Central Connecticut State University where they hold the school board meetings. There's also how they use the word. What was the word? Decorum. This is after they used it in another state. I saw that in other words. They have the Congress involved. They have Congress people involved since founding. They don't know how to speak for the law properly. Certain type of victim slash hyper victim, hyper predator, victim predator too. Hyper predator tied to the breaching method, which is also involved with the answers to like what caused slavery. A human fact achieving nature breaching method that we were supposed to address with honest addressment of the extortion of George Washington and of the tortures of him, which comes with the honest treatments of that, which also comes with the fact achieving nature slavery of everyone. Where the crazy method was so crazy against everyone sickly distinctly that everyone would force roles with the method, positive or negative. As identity theft is, identity is relativity to positive and negative simultaneously. Same way value is. Because there's that one identity that makes value rather than needing it from external. It is it is the identity that revealed the other species bodies with two eyes also, with male, female, ages, areas, sexes, other things that are group differences. With the human species volume, science is additional with the individual volume science. And with those group differences. That's what they're in demonstration of. There is an identity, just like there's an identity that your complete identity is, that all parts of your body share a semi-nature relationship to it, like, even when they are not it. They're it and not at the same time, like the tip of your fingernails. It is your identity, but it's not your identity. You have the same color eyes, while you do not have the same color eyes. We have answers that are being blocked from us. So I caught more then and now with a principal child abuser and with the campuses intercities. There are families on Fairlane Drive who communicated, they confessed, demonstrated, confirmed through communications distinct from what is said, no. They have roles with my new and past neighbors, also forced, tricked, hurt, and persuaded. To roles with predicate acts with a whole bunch of people tied to a Kevin Dillon and to an Anna Dillon. And she uses the name Annie also. And the community center of Weathersfield and Weathersfield town offices and other elections locations. These are people with elderly homes used criminally foreign influence. The veteran, see how the veteran affairs buildings look like those buildings in New York City? That, you know, people who are born to the suburbs and given a halfway decent education, you know that the suburbs were built before our founders were born, apart with the torture and the slavery, fact, human nature wise, of our founders, of human potential. They designed the suburbs to cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures. As a scale and as an identity of relationship to the ground and everything that was reliant upon means to cause positive value nature progressions, acts, and natures. More and more as reliance upon a breaching methods, possession of the only means to cause positive value nature progressions, acts, and nature is now no longer nature, more and more itself, its method singular, which employed a whole bunch of plural methods and nature's additional from its own because it knew that nature was going to continue to demonstrate to humanity. There's a semi-ancient. There are roles with abridged sciences from semi-ancient times that are still being self-valued, where there are convictions regard and opinions in nature's regard relevant regarding the history. Oh, these people are isms. These people are ists, and then it has to be countered by the leaders because those people of isms and ists who leave it like that, they hurt each other. They are systems tactical ulterior from how we are individual group difference slash S and humanity volume science slash S. Simultaneously, correlation uses this. So all the topics in the news that are being used to measure and maintain by the breaching method, how there are things more important than voting, like mandated law. See, but mandated, the experts on mandated law and the experts on each of the sciences have been using that to defend their uses of short words, like regarding the histories of their sciences. Effectively used descriptions of the history, effectively used to measure and maintain criminally foreign influence, fact, human nature, quality aspects of nature as criminal insidiousness. I'm not even a lawyer. Lawyers still planting evidences with the three branches of government, overt criminal enterprises and private ones at the same time. That's one of the things that we know was a part of with American history. Effectively, the concept of black history is used to measure and maintain how the breaching method and how we have black pupils, how the breaching method implied such natural differences to mean other than they do. Because the breaching method also assigned and played nature's demonstrations of that, also blamed on other things, others, ourselves, and made that more and more truths used by lies by everyone too, with the lie, leaving out the breaching method. One of the things that we know true always was what caused the crazy things with American history was a breaching method's employment of crazy, crazy laws as collusions with overt criminal enterprises, with private ones, and with the different with use as uses consciously of the difference between them as criminal and seditious natures and the branches of government. And many nations shared here and there that way. People from Russia, Ukraine, and America are out of their minds, tactically delusions wrought with psychiatry together. And yet they're speaking about wars. They have more roles with more World Trade Center attack crimes. There are people tied to the victims that are also in the neighbors of the victims who had roles with various natures of organized crime and predicate acts, with facts, with people associated with body dumping spots and uses of them, even if some of them were made up. Because these are people that also are involved with training police forms and they're acting coaches. They are not legitimately with unmarked police forms. They're not legitimately with passions and emotions when they speak for science in New York City, for example, sickly distinctly from in Connecticut. And our founders left us to show how there's a breaching method that had entrenched North and South sickly distinctly roles with slavery against everyone sickly distinctly. And our founders left us also to address how sickly non distinctly and to use that to unify ourselves and to show how fake nature and criminal insidiousness natures of unity and or of independence were simultaneously in the way. They still are in the way. If many pray. So the agencies use a whole bunch of predicate acts with facts methods. There are a whole bunch of ways manifest uses of investigations, investigators, and their campuses remotely are already effectively used. There are people from Quinnipiac University who recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed have roles with child offenders, including sexual, and part with the medical families, and more leaders of the kids associated with names on off Two Rod Highway and Hangdog Lane. These are also families with psychiatry involved with medical locations. Mental health databases no one's looking into. They're putting fake conversations with people in there, fake audio and video transcripts, whole fake quotes through the mail, too. Whole bunch of people at Hartford Hospital recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed are involved also with people that were planting evidences on my street with a Dillon family through time, and their roles with the community center, Weathersfield Community Center, and other places where there is voting, like the Weathersfield town offices, religious locations, and further names on and off the schools. Whiting Forensics had roles with predicate acts when I was a kid, with people planting evidences with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and killers. And then again, as an adult, I caught them with the family members of the leaders of the kids, uses of them effectively to make them hurt others. So you have to follow mandated law. That's how they keep predators making opinions about people and using what others say, including how the police have been attaching little kids to fake locations and conversations with themselves. And then as adults, still, through time. And with the news, WFSB attached me to fake conversations with themselves. WTNH fabricated emails as their roles with the principal child abusers campus and other campuses further than and now, more involved with it. There are judges and prosecutors involved with their family members at the campuses at the same time, which is also hyper evidential, has something to do with their roles with governors and East Hartford locations and training of police forms. They implied that there are strippers in East Hartford that might be police. But yeah, anyway, they have roles with planting evidences with people with police forms on off UPS and on Elm Streets in Weathersfield and Rocky Hill, who have roles with the locations on all sides of Central Connecticut State University, intercities through time. That's in New Britain, Connecticut. The New Britain kids have some sick leadership because of the roles of judges and prosecutors with their kids, sick with the courts and medical tied to them and prisons tied to them. Out of the state of Connecticut corrections offices, a whole bunch of people tied to the name Cololo and DeMoro and someone with the name Dave are associated with people who had conversations with people at Connecticut boxing gyms about me that have been criminally foreign influenced. Their roles with wire crimes with Weathersfield police. They have roles with state police at the same time and FBI and judges and their family members. They have little wire crime acts and methods. They're not just little legitimately sick fake punks pretending other regarding color too. I'm going to show you how they're used remotely, tactically, delusions raw simultaneously too. But you have to follow mandated law for them. See, they're that experts on each of the sciences, use it to get over on everyone. So follow mandated law for them. They've been switching and forging names and forbidding me from getting any writing to respond to. They made fake exceptions, criminally foreign influence too, which is also has to be responded to. So follow mandated law from the Britain Superior Court, Hartford courts before the World Trade Center attack. It's also people with Connecticut District Court. They were planting evidences at West Hartford locations and with their families and intimate ties, and with people from Weathersfield who had confessed the same spot, with use of the same spot through time. Also, a serial killer, a reported serial killer, and his prison captors had roles with names with that spot, with predicate acts, with facts with them. Also, tactically, delusions raw. They also have intercultural and interreligious spots. Little sick fake punk tricks with that little representatives from hundreds of countries, sick fake punks together, putting fake things down. Weathersfield Pizza also has a whole bunch of people involved with the state judicial branch offices and with planting predicate acts on campuses, with a Maria Fazzino, Maria Stocco, and a Steven Stocco, and other people tied to them. and with Yukon, involved with judges and prosecutors retired and standing, involved with drugs and medicines crimes with the kids, foreign and domestic military, federal evidence and wire crimes, sequence shifts. I never saw Maria Fazina on Weathersfield campus in my life. I saw Steven Stockwell. I never had a conversation with him in my life. I never took part of the bullying of him by one of the people involved with the Ray Colo in the name Zano is involved with WTNH in the intelligence community, intercities and interstates. They have Johnson and Wales involved with the intelligence community of Weathersfield, Connecticut, interstates, involved with the state judicial branch offices and conjunctions to it, with names who have roles with the World Trade Center attack with predicate acts, because those same names were doing that in West Hartford and New Britain and intercities. Those are ones that are on off the World Trade Center attack. The name Scalora is also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with a bunch of Weathersfield police, involved with predicate acts with home break-ins in the area through time and then again, and their roles with wire crimes with state police and narratives, confessions tied to that, uses of confessions, where they make people have conversations about things they don't know about and what others said, and then they pretend things are real with that consciously, knowing they're not, where and how what is actually recorded. So overt criminal enterprises. There are also people who say they were with Los Solitos, who are involved with the Fred Grisette, who'd been planting evidences with Weathersfield police and Los Solitos with the FBI and the military. Ray Cololo and has roles with Mark Violet and others with the military next to the state capitol, who've been. I never had anything to do with them down there one time. I never saw Ray Claw at downtown those clubs there. And in other words, there's someone with the name Charlie Bowes, and he's got his family in Charlie Bowes, people with the intelligence community at Trinity College and at CCSU, Central Connecticut State University. These are names over here that can fast demonstrate recorded through time. They've been planting evidences and fake ties, fake natures of ties to me with other people, fake motivations too. In other words, when they say good things about me or bad, when they use my name, there's sequence shift planting. These are people who planted sequence shift, post-dated documents from inside the Ninth Circuit Court to make it look as if they've been handed in at a different date to the Ninth Circuit Court, which is right next to the World Trade, which is right next to where the World Trade Center towers were in Manhattan, right before the attack. I don't know if the Ninth Circuit is still there now, but that was proven after the attack, which led up to a 2006 district court case with a um, former director of the FBI, former standing chairperson on the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, Robert Luskin, and co-defendants of his, and people associated with various natures of federal criminals before they were caught, and police forms families, foreign and domestic, like names Scalora and DeMoro, involved with the World Trade Center attack location consciously, criminally since they were kids. All bunch of ways demonstrably recorded. And they have roles of the World Trade Center attack, fake conversations with me about this, WFSB pretended. These are also people with the name Kerr and other spellings of that as people on off Elm Streets and Rocky Hill, and others I don't know the names of, who I did have class. I never had a class with Michael Kerr. And people I did have class with, I never had anything to do with them. And exceptions too. They have them criminally foreign influence. People involved with Elm Streets and Rocky Hill and Weathersfield have something to do with leaking also, where people pretend to be against leaking, like the House of Representatives in the courts, but they are leaking. They have roles with the name Scalora with Miami locations in Orlando And these are people that force Saudis to roles with them, with child sex offenders, leaders of kids, child offenders, leaders of the kids, of other natures of crimes with them. There are a whole bunch of people from Central Connecticut State University involved in New Britain who have been involved with names at Weathersfield and intercities campuses, planting evidences on campuses, retired and standing. Teachers, too, of Mr. Abruzzi, further involved with the principal child offender, and others associated with the principal when I went there. His daughter has involvements with the Harris family, which is one of the families putting fake medical ties and fake social ties to kids into databases, planting evidences on off and with people on off campus of CCSU, on off Quinnipiac University, with judges and prosecutors also personally criminally involved with them, and a Leahy family that pretended conversations with me too, involved with a Brian Silver, involved as one of the names with former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, also involved with a district court, criminally foreign influence, all sides of criminal and civil cases, and then again through time. Names of the hallways, planting evidences together. The courts switching and forging names and sequences while they're sticking fake things in databases with the names next to the spots, insidious little fakes. They have roles with that. Another thing that ties them is their roles with home break-ins in the area. A whole bunch of people tied to Eric Klotz and his family members and his neighbors involved with Weathersfield police and wire crimes, identity theft frauds, planting evidences with them, intercampuses. These are people with New York City involved with Yonkers with the name Klotz and with WFSB. The other networks have roles planting evidences with the intelligence community, retired and standing military, foreign and domestic. They forced the Saudis to roles with them as the names on off intercities from Weathersfield, on off the Britain Superior Court, on off Hartford courts. They've been planting evidences on off Central Connecticut State University in New Britain, which has been roles with names in Weathersfield, stacking predicate acts into databases no one's looking into. So follow mandated law for your country. Don't pretend they could have an election. They went right through elections. I recorded this. You watch what they've been. We don't like because they said that. Get down. There's sequence shifting. They have sick uses of the different religious spots. Little sick fakes, fake ties to people, fake natures of ties to people, including with prosecutors. You have not legitimate people speaking for our cultural differences because they're sick fakes. They were born through campuses that have them hurt the way they're hurting the other kids. Now, make sure you get on paper for them. Make sure you get a response from this Emmett. There's a guy named Emmett who's further involved with child abusers, and these people are families involved with elderly homes at the same time. So make sure you follow mandated law and get a response because they put everyone around everyone to fake words with each other too. Fake lies about WFSB has been planting evidences in cases at crime scenes next to the campuses. Nothing personal. They ain't pretend it's personal. Get me off the fake conversations with them and make sure I get a response. Mazzucato Pastry also has a whole bunch of people tied to a police chief, Cintron, and 1 years ago involved further with one of the houses, involved with them with child offenders. And they're tied to other child offenders' tied houses. So this police chief, Cintron, and 1 years ago involved with their intimate ties and family ties, also involved with child abusers, identity thefts and frauds and slanders instances, falsified police reports, putting fake things in databases. Fear God, Weathersfield. Don't be cowards. Make sure you get them on paper, one name and sequence. Knock, knock. Hello, knock, knock. Make sure. Make sure. Don't make me beg. Make sure I get on paper now. Don't make me anything.